YouTube, capital G here, checking out more of the anime rivals boss monsters that just got revealed in the legendary gold box. I don't really need much setup for this video because you guys probably saw the one that I posted an hour ago. Anyways, let's go ahead and start with the Vrains era, and let's check out Revolver's brand new Borrel Link monster. This is surprisingly the biggest Borrel monster yet, and that's definitely saying something because we have what, like 3 Borrel Link monsters already in Yu-Gi-Oh! Then we have a Fusion, Xyz, and Synchro monster in the game, so we got like 6 Borrel monsters, but this is the biggest one yet. This is Borrelend Dragon, which I guess this means this is the end of the line for the Borrel Dragons. Borrelend Dragon is a Link 5 Dark Dragon monster, 3500 attack. Now it points, well, its Link points are identical to the original Borrel Dragon, but it also points up towards your opponent. Its materials are identical to the other Borrel Link monsters. It's just 3+ effect monsters. If you can summon Borrel Sword Dragon or Borrel Dragon, you're probably used to that. Now, the third effect on this card is a hard once per turn. The first effect says cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also can't be targeted for monster effects. Damn, that's a lot of protection. I definitely was not I was not expecting that, but that's a lot of protection. Second effect, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Third effect, and this is a quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster on the field and 1 rocket monster in your graveyard. That's a cost. Negate the effect of the target on field, and if you do, special summon the target from the graveyard. Of course, because it's a Borrel Link monster, they got to make it a spell speed 4. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. This card is a fucking just behemoth. I mean, this is a monstrosity, and it's insanely easy to make. I mean, how often do you guys see cards like Borrelend and Borrel Sword Dragon summoned in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty frequently, in my opinion. This card is just as easy to summon. It's just 1 link higher. When I look at the protection that this card has, it's basically Borrel Sword and Borrel Dragon and I guess Borrel Guard. It's kind of all of them thrown into one. I mean, your opponent can't target this guy with monster effects. They can't kill it in battle. They can't use card effects to destroy it. Like, that's a lot of stuff to be able to dodge when it comes to, you know, playing against the decks in the meta. Like, I think that protection is kind of insane, to be honest. Now, the fact that this card can also attack all monsters your opponent has means that it is a high damage card. I know some people are like, well, Borrel Sword is a game ender. This card can potentially be a game ender. If your opponent has a bunch of little monsters on field, this card's going to go to town on all of them, so potentially it can be a game ender. The third effect is an amazing tool for rockets. You basically get an impermanence or an effect veiler type effect, and you get a monster reborn for one of your rocket monsters. That's even better if you're reviving something like Rocket Tracer, which can summon another monster from your deck. This card is the real deal. I think that this card is definitely really solid. I would not be surprised to see this just splashed in a multitude of decks, but obviously since it kind of synergizes with rockets as it has the monster reborn effect, it's even better in its own archetype. But this is definitely like a really solid Link 5. Next up to the homeboy Kaito from Zaxel. This is Galaxy Eye's Afterglow Dragon. This is a level 8 light dragon monster, 3000 attack and 2500 defense. Both of your effects on this card are hard once per turn. First effect, if you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Second effect, if this Xyz material is detached from an Xyz monster to activate its effect, you can take 1 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your hand or deck and either special summon it or attach it to an Xyz monster you control as material. In addition, if this effect was activated during the battle phase, you can double the attack of all number monsters you control. Okay, so there's really not that much to say about Afterglow Dragon. This is obviously an excellent card. If you look at the first effect, it allows you to easily get this card on the board with its summoning condition. That can be met by either having just like the original Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon on field. Maybe you discarded it with trade-in and then brought it back from like Galaxy Knight or something like that. Or you can have the Link monster. You can have Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon on the field and you can just special summon this guy from your hand. So I definitely like level 8 dragon monsters that summon themselves easily, but the second effect is really like the moneymaker of this card. It kind of pays you back for using it as Xyz material. If you use it as Xyz material, you just kind of detach to activate an Xyz monster's effect, and then you get to summon a Photon Dragon from your deck for free. And obviously that monster can attack. It's even better because if you summon something like Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, or you summon like number 90, your Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, and you use their effects during the battle phase, not only will you still get that original Photon Dragon, but then you get to double the attack of your monster, and those guys are like, 3,000 and 2,500 attack monsters, so being able to crank them up to 5,000 or 6,000 attack definitely means you can do a lot of damage. I think this guy synergizes really well with Photons, and they have just enough ways of being able to let you summon this guy easily with the first effect, so overall it's a really great card. Lastly, to Reggie and Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, this is DDD Eulogy King Vice Requiem. It is a level 8 Dark Fiend Pendulum monster because, of course, Konami has to still support that fucking scuffed mechanic. We got 2,800 attack, 2,000 defense on this bad boy. Its pendulum scale is 4. Its pendulum effect is actually really good. It says that it's a hard once per turn, and it says target any number of dark contract cards you control. That is a cost. Destroy them, and if you do special summon this card from your pendulum zone, then you can increase or decrease the level of this card by the number of cards destroyed. Now your monster effect, or your second monster effect, is a hard once per turn. First monster effect says you cannot special summon monsters except DDD monsters. Second effect, a DDD monster that was fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link summon using this card as material gains the following effect. Once per turn, you can target one card on the field, return one dark contract among cards on your field and in your graveyard to the deck, and if you do destroy the targeted card, then you gain 1,000 life points. Okay, so predictably, since it's a 2020 card and it's a pendulum, there's like 8 paragraphs of text, and we got to break this card in 2 different ways, or break it down in 2 different ways, because there's the monster effect and the pendulum effect. When I look at the pendulum effect, it seems incredibly solid. I mean, the scale being a 4, I imagine is probably not like the greatest. Don't quote me on that because I'm not a DDD expert, but the fact that you could have something like Dark Contract from the gate, which is that's the kind of rota for DDD, you can have that, you can search from that card, put this card in your pendulum scale, blow that card up because you already searched from it, then just summon a 2,800 attack beater. Seems pretty damn legitimate to me. It seems like this card can summon itself incredibly easily by just blowing up one of your contracts after you've already used up their utility. And then you look at the monster effect part of this card, it locks you into special summoning DDDs, but I mean, Gilgamesh, the Link monster, already does that anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. What I really like about this card is the fact that it pays you back for using it as a material if you summon one of the many monsters from the extra deck that DDD has, because we all know DDD has tons of extra deck monsters. Reggie mastered all the mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, even Link summoning somehow, and that wasn't even a thing during Arc V. But yeah, it's really nice. It actually is very similar to the Galaxy Eyes card that we just talked about. That guy, you use him as an Xyz material, and it just summons your Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from the deck. This card kind of has an effect like that. It lets you basically just blow up a card on your opponent's side of the field by putting one of your Dark Contract cards back into your deck. Now, the 1,000 life points is, I mean, it's a nice little icing on the cake. Maybe it'll be relevant, maybe it won't, but mainly you just want to get that pop effect. You want to blow up one of your opponent's cards. I kind of like this card. I think that even if you just use it as a vanilla beat stick, you search with your gate, or you use their fusion spell, I forget exactly what it's called, to fusion summon, then you just play this card as a pendulum scale, then blow up that card, and then use it as a 2,800 beater. I kind of feel like it's legitimate. It would have been nice if its pendulum scale would have been like super high or super low, so maybe it would have been a little more useful for pendulum summoning, but overall, this is a very solid card with a good pendulum effect and a fairly good monster effect as well. Anyways, whatever you guys think of these rival cards, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.